Hello guys, today, I will be providing a synopsis of a film based on the real-life account of the youngest warrior in World War II titled Soldier Boy. Spoilers alert, so please be cautious. The tale commences in Russia, where a family of three cherishes their time by the riverside. Young Sergei Alyoshkov, the family's youngest member, regales his older brother and mother with tales of his daring tree-climbing adventures. Suddenly, German fighter jets soar above them, prompting Sergei's mother to urge the children to take cover in the bushes. However, defying fear, the audacious 6-year-old decides to confront the jets with his trusty slingshot. To everyone's surprise, he successfully strikes the jets, causing them to explode. But when Sergei looks around, he realizes that his family has vanished into thin air. Startled, he wakes up from this dream and calls out for his mother, only to be interrupted by a knock on his door. Eagerly assuming it is his mother, Sergei hurries to answer, only to find a frantic neighbor instead. She expresses gratitude for his survival and delivers the heartbreaking news of his mother and brother's untimely demise. Struggling to comprehend the woman's words, the young boy insists on waiting in the house for his mother. However, the neighbor reveals that they were attacked by the Germans and implores Sergei to flee. As soldiers approach the house, the woman helps Sergei escape through a window. Tragically, she is shot before she can join him. Now alone and bereft of family or friends, the 6-year-old embarks on a journey into the unknown. As he flees from his burning neighborhood, Sergei desperately calls out for his mother, but his pleas go unanswered. Lost in the woods, he becomes overwhelmed and disoriented, crying out for his mother's comfort and guidance. Seeking refuge, he spends the night in the jungle. The following morning, while drinking water from a river, he spots enemy soldiers approaching. Fully aware of the imminent danger, Sergei quickly conceals himself among the roots of a tree. Despite being startled by a nearby snake, he remains silent and motionless, realizing that the soldiers pose a greater threat. The soldiers dine by the river and eventually depart, leaving behind remnants of their meal, which Sergei consumes for sustenance. However, as the day progresses, exhaustion takes its toll on the young boy. Having gone 2 days without proper nourishment and wandering aimlessly, he collapses but refuses to surrender. Along his arduous journey, he stumbles upon wild berries and hastily devours them, only to be startled by an unexpected explosion behind him. The blast disorients him, leading to hallucinations of a figure approaching from behind. Nevertheless, even in his weakened state, Sergei stands valiantly, declaring that he possesses a rifle and harbors no fear. He continues limping forward until eventually succumbing to unconsciousness. While in slumber, he is discovered by 2 soldiers. The scene transitions to a Russian army base, where Commander Kuznetsov awaits his patrol soldiers. They bring the injured and frail young boy along with them. As the soldiers claim to be on his side, Sergei opens up and introduces himself. The soldiers share a chuckle as the boy extends his hand for a handshake with the commander, prompting them to suggest that the commander introduce himself as well. A sense of fondness grows among the soldiers as they gather around the boy affectionately, providing him with water, food, and even the typically reserved commander showing care towards the child. A nurse named Katya tends to Sergei's wounds and is captivated by his personality. The young child requests that the wounds on his body be drawn as a tank because he dreams of becoming a soldier in the future. Even the wounded soldiers engage with the child, finding solace in his presence. Sergei becomes captivated by the commander's gun and emblem, and the commander patiently answers all of the child's inquiries, allowing him to play with an unloaded honorary pistol. Sergei proudly displays the tank drawing on his stomach, boasting about his own soldierly aspirations. Miraculously, the child's healing progresses swiftly. Nurse Katya, observing the bond between Sergei and the battalion, appeals to the commander, urging him to let the child stay with them. However, the commander disagrees, expressing concerns for the child's safety, and proposes sending Sergei to an orphanage. Despite this decision, the soldiers dedicate their free time to accompany and support Sergei. They bring him food sent by their families from distant places and even allow him to explore their binoculars. One day, a soldier approaches the commander, imploring him to reconsider and allow the child to remain with the battalion. The soldiers have grown deeply attached to Sergei, considering him as one of their own. His presence alleviates the weight of war from their hearts. Nonetheless, the commander remains resolute in his decision to send the boy to the orphanage for his own well-being. The following day, enemy forces launch an attack, resulting in numerous casualties among the soldiers. A vehicle arrives to transport Sergei to the orphanage as originally planned. The commander informs the young child of the news and presents him with a wooden honorary pistol as a token of gratitude. In response, the boy warmly embraces the commander, expressing concern for his safety. Touched by the child's affection, the commander has a change of heart and asks Sergei to stay with the soldiers as if he were his own son. That night, the soldiers eagerly search for appropriate clothing for their new companion, excited to have Sergei join their ranks. The commander wakes up Sergei and gives him the clothes, which he eagerly puts on, resembling a genuine soldier. From that point forward, the soldiers affectionately refer to him as their little soldier boy. While the child happily plays, the battalion is suddenly attacked by German forces from the air. The soldiers quickly move Sergei to a safe place while engaging in combat. The number of wounded soldiers rapidly increases. Wanting to contribute, Sergei takes it upon himself to bring water to the thirsty soldiers. One injured soldier, unable to read due to bandaged eyes, asks Sergei to read a letter from his family. Despite his inability to read, the resourceful boy improvises, inventing stories about the contents of the letter to lift the soldier's spirits. When the soldier mentions not owning a cow, Sergei insists on continuing the charade, leading to laughter from the others. He continues this imaginative reading for everyone's letters, bringing joy and optimism to their lives. Meanwhile, Katya, a woman at the base, and the commander share a conversation that suggests an unspoken attraction between them. Later, Sergei proudly considers himself an orderly in the battalion after informing the commander. However, witnessing the destruction of a soldier's station during an attack, the commander teaches him to pay respects to the fallen soldier by removing his hat. The next day, Sergei insists on being given a mission and is assigned the task of distributing letters among the soldiers. With remarkable efficiency, he completes the task and even manages to coax the soldiers into dancing for his amusement. On another occasion, Sergei ventures a little too far from the base with his binoculars. As he plays with them, he notices movement from within a haystack. Alarmed, he rushes back to the battalion to share his discovery with the skeptical soldiers. Despite their doubts, they follow the determined boy. Upon reaching the haystack, they are astonished to find 2 German spies hiding underneath. The spies are captured, and Sergei is applauded for his intelligence. During the night, the commander presents Sergei with official adoption papers, establishing him as the commander's son. Aware of the commander's feelings for Katya, Sergei decides to repay his kindness by encouraging him to confess his love. However, they mistakenly observe Katya engaged in conversation with another man and mistakenly assume her interest lies elsewhere. The base is attacked by the Germans once again. This time, Sergei wholeheartedly assists the soldiers by supplying ammunition to those on the front lines. Concerned for his safety, the soldiers command him to retreat to the shed. Inside, Sergei witnesses the commander and others panicking due to a loss of communication with their superior. When a soldier is sent to repair the damaged wires, Sergei follows him and discovers that the soldier has been gravely injured. Determined to help, the young boy seeks guidance from the dying soldier on fixing the wires and successfully restores the connection, enabling them to call for additional troops. Remarkably, the 6-year-old saves everyone's lives. Later, by the river, the commander and Katya share a heartfelt conversation where he finally confesses his love and proposes that she become Sergei's mother. Overjoyed, Katya is about to respond when a soldier interrupts with a letter announcing their departure from the base. The following day, the soldiers, including Sergei, depart for their new base. However, on their journey, they encounter a minefield that causes some of their vehicles to be destroyed. The commander is injured, and the soldier with whom Sergei had formed a close bond tragically loses his life in the explosion. Overwhelmed with grief, Sergei embraces the commander for comfort. They continue their journey, carrying the wounded soldiers with them, determined to reach the new base. Upon reaching the new base, they meet the commander's superior, general, who is impressed by Sergei's bravery and intelligence. The general commends the commander for raising such an extraordinary child. The next day, their division is honored with a guard's banner, and Sergei is recognized for his contributions as well. Promising to protect his country, Sergei is presented with a badge by the general. One night, their base comes under a brutal attack, leaving the commander trapped under the rubble. Sergei cries out for his father and rallies the other soldiers, who work tirelessly to rescue the commander. The following day, Sergei tends to the injured commander, whose hands were injured while trying to save him. From that moment on, the young boy becomes an indispensable part of the team. With no family other than his fellow soldiers, Sergei accompanies them wherever they go in the war. The movie concludes with the regiment marching toward another base as a narrator in the background recounts Sergei's remarkable bravery, his participation in the Battle of Stalingrad, and his journey with the soldiers to Poland. Sergei becomes known as the world's youngest soldier, and his legendary tale of courage captures the hearts and minds of people around the world.